Blake Berman there. Switching to 2016, a new CNN poll shows former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton trailing Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders by 16% in New Hampshire. Vice President Joe Biden garners 14% of the vote, despite not having even officially declared that he's in this race. Joining us right now is Republican pollster and founder of the Luntz Group, Frank Luntz himself, in the studio. Good to see you, sir.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for joining us. First, I want to talk about Mr. 92% tax rates, Bernie Sanders. He's basically telling people, pay 92% of your salary to the government and just live on 8%. And he's winning.
Yeah, I've got one word for you. McGovern. This has happened before.
Yeah.
In 1972, it was supposed to be Ed Muskie, supposed to be Hubert Humphrey, names that probably half your viewers don't know. But the Democratic Party ignored the establishment, the Hillary Clinton candidacy, and went to George McGovern, who was exactly as Bernie Sanders. If you remember, back in 72, he wanted to tax just about everything above $1 million. That's exactly what Sanders is proposing today. And you know what? Democrats like it. Please understand, taxes, Democrats, it's about the same thing. And what it has done, it has created such chaos. And now it's coming to the point where if Biden doesn't run, then Bernie Sanders is going to have a legitimate shot at this nomination.
We're talking about, fair and pay your fair share. I don't understand how 92% is fair.
In France, they think it's fair. You don't have to know who McGovern is to know that Bernie Sanders wants to make America some equivalent of France. Right. Is that not correct?
He's a socialist.
But the French, they like Jerry Lewis, so I would not pay attention to anything that the French are into.
But they have a 90% tax rate at the top end. I mean, that's
somehow. But then the question that becomes, what does Trump pay?
Yeah.
Because that's always the question. Does it hurt Trump?
Does it hurt him personally?
But I'm watching the language, and Sanders is not compromising. He's not moving away at all. He proudly boasts that he's a socialist. He's proudly saying that not only will he increase taxes, but regulations. The business community never took him seriously. Well, I'm here to tell you right now, start taking him seriously.
Absolutely.
This is real. I think he's going to win in Iowa. I think he's going to win in New Hampshire, no matter what Joe Biden does.
Wow. Well, go ahead, Dagen.
No, in terms of his, not just the language that he uses compared to Hillary Clinton, but also his body language and how he interacts with people, how he gives interviews. I mean, I was making fun of Hillary Clinton's laugh from over the weekend, but it's everything about her is so rehearsed. When she tries to seem personable, it just comes across like she's been practicing to seem warm.
And she has. In her responses, when she gets attacked, watch what she does with the press. She doesn't look people straight in the eye. Someone taught her to look up here and look up there. Bernie Sanders looks you straight in the eye. He looks like a professor. He reminds me of Jim from Taxi, which is a problem. You're going to have to throw me off the air because all my analogies are basically for people who are 80 or older.
I love it.
But that's what
No, I get that. So,
and he fundamentally believes it. Like you said, he's a raging socialist.
Yes.
He looks you in the eye, and there's how many? 30 million, 40 million Americans who want handouts that are socialists too? It's a popular message.
Look, this is happening across the globe. Greece re-elected its socialist. In Britain, the Labour Party is now being run by someone who's not a socialist. He's just one little level short of being a communist.
Brazil. Add Brazil to the list.
There's a fine line, too, but we're getting closer to it, the fine line between socialism and communism.
And who would have thought that it would come here? But that's the anger and the frustration on the left and on the right. So I know that Trump seems to suck the oxygen out of the room. Watch Bernie Sanders. He is growing in donations. Wow. He's growing in support. And his offices are everywhere in New Hampshire.
What about the GOP? I mean, how do you think this plays out with Donald Trump?
This is the first time in my professional life that I've not been able to call it. I've been working at Fox since 2007. Even before that, I've been doing this since 1999. I've never had a situation where I could not say to you, this is the front runner, or even who's coming up. Watch Rubio. Mm-hmm. Potentially, let's see what happens in the next debate. Even Chris Christie seems alive again. But I got to tell you, in watching the polling numbers, Trump is not collapsing. He is a force. And it's not as much about him as it is about his voters. Those voters want to send a message, can't use the language on the air, even at 7 in the morning. Yeah. But that's how they feel, and Trump is the candidate for them.
A word about Carly?
Her debate performance is brilliant, but I'm looking at the New York Times, Jeffrey Sonnenfeld. He's determined to bring her down. That's the debate you want to have on this show one morning, because you will wake up the country. Put the professor over here, put Carly over here, and discuss what kind of CEO she was.
I would love to see that, Maria.
Yeah.
You know, these guys who waddle around in academia and talk about how they know everything, Mr. Sonnenfeld. Come on, man. I mean, my office used to be right beside his. There's a guy who won't look you in the eye when he goes across the street either.
And he's close with Trump. He's close with Trump. He knows Donald.
She got to the chairman and CEO role at Hewlett-Packard. She had to make real decisions in terms of employees, hundreds of thousands of employees. You can debate whether or not you liked her performance, but she ran hundreds of thousands of employees.
And she came from nowhere.
And made real decisions.
And she was an administrator. I mean, she is the success story of women in America.
If Trump had worked as a CEO for a company not named Trump, would he have been fired at one point or another?
Yeah, good point.
How many
maybe.
times? But you cannot discount what she did in the debate. Everyone paid attention to her. Her numbers went up significantly, both locally and nationally. And the other one, all three candidates, Trump, Fiorina, and Ben Carson, none of them have held office first, second, and third in the Republican primary. What the hell?
I love it. I love it. Or as I like to say, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
It's good.
Frank Luntz. Don't